Emetullah Rabia Gülnuş Valide Sultan or Māh-Pāra Emetullah Rabia Gülnuş Valide Sultan, fully Devletlu İsmetlu Emetullah Rabia Gülnuş Valide Sultan Aliyyetü'ş-şân Hazretleri, 1642, the 6th of November 1715, was the favorite consort of Ottoman Sultan Mehmed IV and Valide Sultan to their sons Mustafa II and Ahmed III. Rābi'a Gülnûş was born in the town of Rethymno, Crete in 1642, when the island was under Venetian rule. She was originally named Eugenia Voria and she was an ethnic Greek, the daughter of a Greek Orthodox priest. It has been theorized that her distant paternal ancestry lies in the Venetian Verzzizi family. Time as consort. The Ottoman army invaded the island during the Cretan War, 1645 to 1669. She was captured as a very young girl when the Ottomans conquered Rethymno about 1646. She was taken as slave and was sent to Constantinople. She was renamed Māh-Pāra, meaning a slice of the moon, and was given a thoroughly Turkish and Muslim education in the harem department of Topkapi Palace and soon attracted the attention of the Sultan, Mehmed IV. He was famous for his hunting expeditions in the Balkans and used to take his favorite to these expeditions. They had two sons, both of whom became the future sultans, Mustafa II, born 1664 died 1703, and Ahmed III, born 1673, died 1736. Ahmed was born in Dobruka during one of the hunting expeditions of Mehmed IV. Her rivalry with Gülbiaz, an odalisque of Mehmed IV, led to a tragic end. Sultan Mehmed had been deeply enamored of her, but after Gülbiaz entered his harem, his affections began to shift. Gülnûş, still in love with the Sultan, became madly jealous. One day, as Gülbiaz was sitting on a rock and watching the sea, Gülnûş slightly pushed her off the cliff and drowned the young odalisque, or according to others she ordered Gülbiaz's strangulation in the Kandilli Palace. Some writers stress the fact that Gülnûş was a ruthless person, claiming that she attempted to have her husband's brothers Suleyman II and Ahmed II strangled after she gave birth to her firstborn Mustafa, but that Mother Turhan Hatice Sultan had hindered these attempted murders. Valide Sultan. She became Valide in 1695 when her elder son Mustafa II became the Sultan. She held the position during the reign of two sons. When Mustafa II was dethroned in 1703, the populace blamed Gülnûş for his preference for Edirne over Istanbul as a place of residence and for the general confusion of life in the capital. She did have some political importance. In 1703, she was asked to confirm and approve of the succession of her other son, Ahmed III, to the throne, which she also did. Ahmed III thought it prudent to keep her out of sight until the feeling against her had died down, and, so on her return from Edirne, she went to the old palace for a time. She of course had more freedom of movement and contacts than the Khans. Quite often she accompanied her son. She visited her daughters in their palaces, took part in the wedding of her daughter Fatma Sultan at the side of her son, visited her daughter Hatice Sultan in company of the Sultan. After she had given birth to a daughter, she looked at parades, visited Eyüp, received the Grand Vizier and the Sayyidslam and accepted invitations by the Grand Vizier and the Bostonqbas. With her son, she had has, private domains, and a Kathuda, steward, who administered them for her. Mustafa kept close contacts with his mother. He honored her demonstratively whenever there was an occasion. He sent her information, asked for her well-being and received many horses as gifts from her. He even prohibited that anybody should stay in a house in Sorlu, between Istanbul and Edirne, in which his mother had spent a night. She is also attributed to having advised her son to the war with Russia in 1711. In 1709, King Charles XII of Sweden settled in Bender within the Ottoman Empire during his war with Russia. He wished the Sultan to declare war against Russia and form an alliance with Sweden. The Sultan was rumored to listen to the advice of his mother, who had a large influence over him. Charles sent Stanislaw Poniatowski and Thomas Funk as his messengers. They bribed a convert named Goyn, formerly a Frenchman, who worked as a doctor in the palace. Goyn arranged a meeting with the personal slave of the Valide, a Jewish woman, who they gave a personal letter to the Valide. They were also introduced to the Hungarian eunuch Horwath, who became their propaganda person in the harem. The Valide became intrigued by Charles, took an interest in his cause, and even corresponded with him in Bender. On the 9th of February 1711, Turkey declared war against Russia, as the Sultan had been advised to by his mother, who convinced him that Charles was a man worth taking a risk for. Death. For 20 years, she was the influential Valide Sultan. She died on 1715 in Edirne during the reign of her son Ahmed III, just before the start of the era of prosperity and peace called the Tulip Lale era by the Turkish historians. She is buried at a tomb that is open to sky, that is near the mosque she bequeathed to be built at Üsküdar on the Anatolian side of Istanbul, called the Yeni Valide Mosque.